The seed packet. It's inviting, colorful, friendly. They even contain a practical how-to guide to set you up for a bountiful harvest. And for many gardeners, it's also lying to you. And what seems at first as straightforward and educational can quickly devolve into confusing and frustrating. So let's talk about one of the most commonly misunderstood pieces of information on a tomato seed packet, so you can make sure you get it right so your garden doesn't go wrong. When it comes to seed packets, it's important to understand that they're primarily marketing materials. They're branded consumer products that are designed to be eye-catching, to entice you to purchase them over their competitors' products. And while most of them carry a bunch of information on them, there really isn't much information that's required for them to include. Things like plant type and variety, how many seeds are in the pack by count or by weight. Also, what year the seeds were packed for, which is an indication of the last time the germination rates were tested. Now, none of the required information includes how to actually grow these plants. But the seed companies, they want to help. They want to make sure that the plants that you grow from their seed packets succeed, so you're more likely to buy them again in the future. The information you can find on most seed packets these days covers 5 key categories: what the plant is, when to plant it, how to plant it, what conditions the plant prefers, and how long it takes before you can start harvesting. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but seed packets are pretty small, and given the limited real estate, the information has to be largely general, not specific. But when it comes to growing something that's a longer season crop like tomatoes, those generalities can get you into trouble fast. The seed companies do their best, but they can't possibly provide you with all of the relevant information across every single growing zone on their seed packets. So they make sure to cover those 5 key categories and then wish you luck. And on these seed packets, there's one line of information that falls under one of these 5 categories that, if misinterpreted, can absolutely derail a gardener's tomato growing season. In fact, if you have a struggling tomato yield, chances are this is the cause. Take a look at your seed packets and you'll find a section that's called Days to Maturity. Some also refer to it as Days to Harvest. Sounds intuitive, right? Not so fast. Take a closer look and you'll find that there's a key bit of information that's missing. Days from what? Sowing the seeds? Germination? Transplanting? Flowering? When exactly does the clock on Days to Maturity start ticking? Notice that it doesn't even indicate whether it matters if you're starting your seeds indoors or you're direct sowing straight into your garden. And this little misunderstanding can absolutely ruin your harvest. Because you see, it depends. How are you planning on starting your seeds? If you choose to direct sow your seeds straight into a garden bed, then Days to Maturity is based on when the seeds germinate. But if you're starting your seeds indoors like many gardeners do in order to get a jump on the growing season, the countdown doesn't begin until you've transplanted your seedlings outdoors. So even if your seed packet says 65 days to maturity, it might be closer to 115 days from germination to first harvest. And even then, you have to time things just right. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, let's use these Cherokee purple tomatoes as an example. These tomatoes are a mid-season heirloom variety that have a stated DTM of 72 days. If I sow these outside once conditions are favorable, it should take about 10 days to germinate. And that means 82 days after I sow these seeds, I could reasonably expect to start harvesting some tomatoes. But what if I start them indoors? Well, the planting tips say start seeds 6 to 8 weeks before planting date, which means getting them in the ground. So let's call that 7 weeks or 49 days. According to the pack, it takes 7 to 14 days to germination. So we'll meet in the middle and we'll call it 10 days. And if we want to stay consistent with the clock starting at germination, that would mean it's 39 days of growing exclusively indoors. And then we have to harden off, something that's curiously missing from the back of seed packets. I don't know why they don't include that information. If you know of any seed companies that actually give hardening off instructions or even mention hardening off on their seed packets, let us know in the comments. Hardening off takes another 7 to 14 days, so again, let's call that 10. And then, and only then, can we get our starts transplanted into the garden. That's 49 days. And only now does the 72 days to maturity timer start. 121 days from germination to first harvest. And that's why it's so important to understand the nuance of days to maturity. I'm sorry, but you're not going to be harvesting tomatoes 3 weeks after you transplant. But wait, compared to direct sowing, how can the plants that I started indoors get passed in productivity by plants that are a month and a half younger than they are? If I get my transplants into the garden now, I should be getting tomatoes sooner. Nope. I call this the false start principle. Tomato seedlings that you transplant outside are subject to your will. You decide when they get exposed to the great outdoors. On the other hand, seeds that are direct sown will stay dormant until conditions are favorable enough for them to wake up. And that's where we can get tripped up with our indoor starts. We just get too excited to start the garden. Tomatoes need daytime temperatures over 60 degrees Fahrenheit in order to reliably grow. And they actually prefer it a little bit warmer. So you're looking for daytime temperatures in the range of 75 degrees to 85 degrees for most varieties of tomatoes. But when the daytime high is 60 degrees, the nighttime low often dips down to or below 50 degrees, which is super stressful for your plants, and it actually stalls growth as they enter survival mode. This stop-start cycle in the early stages of your plant's development will cause growth to slow significantly. It'll also impact things like root development and flower production. And this isn't even the biggest problem with how days to maturity relates to temperature. Now, if you want to grow tomatoes, this is important. The sweet spot for fruit development of a tomato plant is a nighttime temperature ranging between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Too cool and the plants stop growing and they can suffer some damage. Too warm and they'll start to drop their blossoms. I call this the frost cliff for cooler zones and the heat wall for warmer zones. I'll get into this in a little bit, but it's a critical idea in order to understand your garden's true tomato growing season. At the beginning of the season, you could have a few warmer days that lull you into a false sense of security when it comes to transplanting your veg. But while the air might be over 60 degrees, have you checked the soil? Keep in mind that it might take a little while for your soil temperature to catch up to ambient temperature. And you're going to want to make sure that 4 inches down into your soil is 60 degrees Fahrenheit before you even think about transplanting your tomatoes. If you decide it's time to transplant your tomatoes outside just because the thermometer reads 60 degrees, chances are your soil is going to be too cool. And that's going to send a shock through the system of your tomato plants and really start to slow things down. What you were looking at as a head start to the season actually becomes a multi-week stall. And this doesn't happen when starting seeds outdoors because the seeds have a natural mechanism that indicates to them when it's safe to sprout. Unless the soil temperature is warm enough, the seed isn't going to break dormancy. Once they do, the threat of too cool of temperatures is virtually non-existent, meaning that seeds that are direct sown never go through metabolic shock. But what if the seedlings are huge? What if you've already potted them up twice before transplanting? What if they already have flowers? Surely this is a great way to guarantee bigger, more productive plants sooner. No, it's not. As counterintuitive as it might seem, if your plants have gotten to that point before they make it into the garden, you might actually have a worse harvest than you would have had you started your seeds a few weeks later and transplanted smaller plants. Call it resource exhaustion. Tomatoes want to be outside. They're not houseplants. We do our best to trick them into growing inside at the beginning of their life cycle, but unless you have some sort of state-of-the-art indoor growing space, they're not going to thrive indoors. Chances are, if they get big enough to start flowering, they're going to get super stressed out and growth will be stunted when you transplant them. If you see any flowers or even fruit on your tomato plants while they're still indoors, the best thing you can do for their health is to remove them before transplanting. Transplants with flowers or fruit are going to have a really tough time getting established, and their yield is going to struggle. In this case, you need to do everything that you can to refocus your plant on root development and away from reproduction. And that's going to delay first harvest. But if you live in a really cool region or a really warm region and you misinterpret days to maturity, you might not get a first harvest at all. For cool regions, that's because some tomatoes have longer days to maturity than those zones have frost-free days. Call it a frost cliff. In some zones, you might only get 100 to 120 frost-free days. And your tomato growing season is actually going to be well short of that. Because think about it, frost-free doesn't mean ideal tomato growing temperatures. It just means that it's not cold enough for frost. You still need to wait on your soil temperatures to increase enough for your tomato plants to take hold and thrive. It's the reason why many seed packets will say to wait up to 2 weeks after first frost before direct sowing or transplanting. Remember what we talked about earlier. Tomato plants set fruit best in a range between 60 and 70 degrees. Anything cooler than that in your cold regions, and you're not going to be getting fruit development. And you're going to get hit from both ends because earlier in the spring, your temperatures are going to be too low for your plants to get established, to grow, and start to set fruit. And as fall approaches, the temperatures are going to start to dip and your overnight temps are going to get below that 60 to 70 degree range. So you really have a short amount of time in which your tomato plants can set fruit. And because chillier evening temps can slow down growth and fruit development, you'll probably want to add 10 to 14 days to the stated days of maturity on your seed packet, which still doesn't account for the extra math you need to do when starting your seeds indoors. So yeah, it adds up fast. And if you live in a cooler zone, it's going to make more sense for you to focus on tomato varieties that have days to maturity between 50 and 65 days. Now, some of us are zone pushers, meaning we like to push the limits of our growing regions. If that's you and you've tried to grow some late season tomatoes in a cooler region, let us know in the comments how it worked out for you. Now, interestingly, this concept is also true for many warm season gardeners, only instead of the frost cliff experienced by cool season gardeners in spring and fall, warm season gardeners hit a heat wall in the summertime. The struggles in deep southern zones are essentially a mirror image of the struggles found in far northern growing regions. Tomatoes are native to the Andes Mountains, and as such, they grow best in conditions with warm, sunny days, great for photosynthesis, and cool, crisp evenings, which is great for respiration and setting of fruit. And just as the colds can get a bit too cold in the spring and fall in cooler regions, the hots can get a bit too hot in the summertime down south. So gardeners in cold and hot zones alike need to consider the true amount of time that they have to be able to grow tomatoes in optimal conditions. Once those overnight temperatures start consistently dipping below 60 degrees Fahrenheit in the north or above 70 degrees Fahrenheit down south, you're getting outside of the range for tomatoes to thrive. You fall off the frost cliff or hit the heat wall. One of the two. But now you know, and now you can plan accordingly, and you can set yourself up for tomato growing greatness. Isn't it amazing that one simple line on a seed packet can mean so much when it comes to excitement or disappointment in the garden? With some planning and a little bit of math, you can ensure that this next garden will be your best one yet. Happy growing!